incredible resource. How do you use the rankings, right? How do you, and inside lacrosse, NLF, prep lacrosse, like clearly there's a method to the madness. I don't think that college coaches think, hey, that's the exact order. He's one, he's two,
No.
and that, but also when you look at the numbers, the percentage of guys from the top 100 that go ACC or Ivy League or Big Ten over the last 3 years, it's like 88% of the players in the top 100 are going to those schools. So what is it about the rankings that allow you to leverage them or use them?
So I don't necessarily think us college coaches are. I think it's a credit to those media members that are using them. Like they're doing their homework. They're utilizing their network. They're utilizing their own evaluations. So that's a credit to them. I think that staffs, you know, they're looking at them. I don't think it's going to change how they value somebody. They may, some might. You know, I think it reinforces your belief, and maybe, you know, number one in one guy's ranking is different than another, but he's at number 2 or 3. The internal clock or the internal boards are not going to change based on some media member saying that a guy's 1 and another guy's 3. Because you're talking about, for the most part, a staff that has come to a consensus on what their board is, regardless of what the rankings are. And it could align with some of these guys' rankings, but I haven't dove into the numbers enough to know if there's any class that actually went like verbatim,
Right.
1, 3, 5, 7, and it was the same across the board. I doubt that is it, but you know, it's nice to know that from a coaching perspective as a recruiter that the consensus is like exactly what you thought it was. You're not way off on a kid. The kid's a top 20 prospect, everybody's mind. And I think we do, but it's good to be reinforced.
I think it's funny, and I hadn't thought about this, but you saying that it gives credit to the guys that are doing the evaluating. It's almost like the NFL draft,
Yeah.
right? Mel Kiper and these guys are evaluating quarterbacks, and then you look at Mel's big board, and even though it's not perfect, right? They get a lot of those right, or they're close, and it
Yeah.
seems to me you're kind of saying the same thing. Like they're not perfect, the evaluations aren't perfect. Everybody can agree with that, but they're pretty darn good, and these guys are better probably than most people think at evaluating talent.
100%. And again, like Mel Kiper using it, like he's utilizing the network that he's created for himself in his industry. He's calling coaches, he's understanding what scouts are hearing, seeing, and how they're evaluating, and then he's coming to his consensus. That's doing homework. Like he might not be, I don't know him, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
He might not be a great evaluator, but he knows the people that are, and then he dials them in and like really, really gets into it. So I think that if I'm looking at it, and I hear it every year, like that staff just goes after the number one. That's just not a reality. They're able to recruit number 1 every year, and that's a credit to them. So like I don't believe that staffs are sitting around waiting for these publications to get their rankings out and then being like,
Yeah.
yep,
Right.
that's the way we're rolling here. Like but
Yeah.
it validates their feelings and gives them a little bit more rest, I guess, at the night that like they're in the right ballpark with how they felt. And again, their boards are built differently. They're not built on, I need the number 1 attackman, the number 1 midi, the number 1 goalie. That's just not how we operate, like
Right.
at all, because you have a financial obligation that you may or may not be able to fit that whole equation together.